What's up, guys? Welcome back to another great episode of Beerfield Fantasy Shots. I'm your host, bartender tonight, Dan Thuria, Thuria BFF. Earlier today, I posted the waiver wire information, ads, things you should do, and stuff like that. I like to do my news segments a little bit later, let anything pile up. I didn't get any late news coming in. It's a shorter news segment today. Tuesdays are always typically quiet. Most injury stuff that comes in is just stuff lingering from the past weekend, and generally by Tuesday, it's nothing's too crazy or concrete to really worry about it too much. So I'm just going to jump in with the news. First piece of news reported by Adam Schefter that all the charges that were filed against or that were potentially going to be filed against Jarvis Landry in his domestic dispute with his ex-girlfriend have been dropped, which is a good thing because this is finally now cleared up and over with. Both Landry and his ex said he was innocent and there was no problem here, so it seemed pretty mild to begin with. But it's good to know that this is finally done, and then he can move on from this, and then him and his girlfriend can move on from it. Moving on to some Packer news. Randall Cobb was a full participant in practice today. He didn't play last week. We saw the rise of Geronimo, and it's Jordy Duasane, and then there's Adams. So it's good to see Cobb as a full participant back. It looks like he's on track to play next week, or excuse me, it looks like he's on track to play on Thursday against the Bears. But just monitor tomorrow and see what happens. Next piece of news is that Chris Johnson from the Cardinals will be your Week 4 starter. He got the bulk of the carries last week, or at least on Monday, excuse me. And but Andre Ellington was the better back in terms of fantasy. It just to note that the new play San Francisco, so Chris Johnson is somewhat of a home run play this week if you decide to play a Cardinals running back, though I do prefer Andre Ellington, especially in PPR leagues because he gets the majority of the passing down work. Next piece of news coming out of Philadelphia, it's no doubt that Smallwood will get a bigger role now. It's not really a shocker here with Sproles done for the year. Smallwood was in line with a bigger workload. He'll take over the passing down work while Blunt will probably see a little more touches. Maybe not too much. You're also going to factor in Corey Clement. Smallwood is a must-add this week. I did talk about him on the waiver wire show, and then Corey Clement is a deep stash. He scored their last touchdown in crunch time, where he got a lot of his carries then, and this is with a healthy Blunt and a healthy Smallwood, so that is something to monitor. Right now, it's going to be majority of Blunt and Smallwood. Smallwood would be the safer back in PPR, being that he's going to get the passing down work. But if it's a good matchup, Blunt should have decent days, as he did look better against the Giants. And Chiefs are placing Kiro Santos in IR, and they signed kicker Harrison Butker off of the Carolina Panthers practice squad. They do expect Santos to potentially be back from IR, but that's going to be in 8 weeks. So right now, avoid Kansas City kicker until he can prove otherwise. But that is that news on that front. Next piece of news out of Arizona again is John Brown did practice before Monday's game. This is per Mike Drecke via Twitter. It still may be some time before he sees the actual field, but this is a sign of progress and he's moving towards the right direction. I'm a big fan of John Brown. I want him to get healthy, and I hope that he can finally get that put together because he's really fun to watch. Second to last piece of news here, Packers starting left tackle David Abakieri has resumed practice per Rob Davinsky via Twitter. Excuse me if I got that wrong. David hasn't played since week 1, so it's good to see that he's stepping in the right direction. I know Rodgers is really missing his starting left tackle, and he probably won't play this week, but it looks like he's on track for next week. Any healthy lineman for the Green Bay Packers right now is going to be a big boost, as Rodgers has been getting face planted since week 1. Last piece of news that seemed to have dropped maybe an hour ago, if not sooner. The Jets have signed Tavares Cadet, running back from the Saints, for Aaron Wilson via Twitter. This just seems like a precautionary thing. If Forte can't go, then they want to throw another running back, so they just have Powell and the rookie McGuire. It is note that they did work out Niles Davis as well, so it looks like Cadet won that role or whatever. I wouldn't make anything of this right now, being that it is a Jets player, but they did sign another running back. That's all the news we got today. Again, I'm Dan Theory at 3 BFF. Behind me, look like he eats some food, is Nick at Nick Sparse. You can normally find him on the show page, at BeerfieldFF. Same thing for Instagram BeerfieldFF. You can also follow Hopper at HopBFF, 2 P's. We will be recording tomorrow instead of tonight because Hopper's in St. Louis for a concert. And then we'll resume kind of normal things. Wednesday we'll be back on, or Thursday we'll be back on again recording for our previews. And this Sunday you're going to get Nick and I, as Chris will be out of town again, doing all the Sunday recap shit. So we'll be good and fucking tired for you guys, as there is another London game. Tomorrow Nick will be on for starts and sits. I'll be back on again Thursday to do anything can happen Thursday stuff. Chris will be on Friday for his DFS stuff. Nick will be back on Saturday for the injury ins and outs. Then Nick will be on Sunday morning writing solo, doing all your questions before the London game kicks off. I unfortunately have to work Sunday mornings, so I cannot attend as usual. If you got any questions though, please add us on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. Ask us your starts, your sits, poll questions, things like that. I've been getting DMs personally. I know the show has. We've been added a lot increasingly, so please keep adding us. I know that week 3 was a really shitty week for everybody, so hopefully you stick with us and our advice. We tend to put in a lot of work when we put these together. So please like, subscribe, leave comments on our YouTube. Let us know how we're doing. Also do the same thing on iTunes and any of your major podcast downloading platform. Like, subscribe, review, things like that. It does help the show out a lot. So you'll catch Nick tomorrow, like I said, and I'll see you guys. You'll hear me tomorrow, and I will see you guys back up Thursday.